So here we are off the mark. Welcome back guys to another video, and what I've got for you today is, as you can see behind me, is another Subaru Impreza. Now this isn't no usual Impreza, it's a JDM STI Ltd. Now a lot of people don't really know too much about these, and neither did I, to be fair, until I got offered the car, and then I've looked into it, and it is quite a special car, and finished off in flagship blue. And honestly, this car is so mega to drive. It's such a wicked drive. So yeah, we've got this for today's video. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram, performance_lifestyles, and we're on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. And if you'd like your car featured, drop us an email, pflifestyle@hotmail.com, and you know, we'll be more than happy to accommodate. Yeah, but for today we've got this Scooby, and we've got a fair few other Scoobies on the channel, including a S202, a few Spec Cs. So yeah, do feel free to check them out as well. Honestly, such a special cars, and this is another one to add to the collection. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and we'll catch you outside the car. So here it is, the Subaru Impreza STI JDM, and it's a STI Limited. And these cars, honestly, if you know anything about Scoobies, the Bugeye is probably, I personally believe, one of the better ones to drive as a fun car. I know the newer ones, the Hawks, the Blobs, the hatchbacks and all the rest of it, are probably a bit better on a daily, but these things are very special cars, and this actual one here is an epic car. So I've driven it briefly for about 5 minutes, and honestly, this car feels so good. It almost reminds me of the S202, and I'll go into a bit more of that a bit later on in the video, and you'll see why it reminds me of the S202. But yeah, as you can see there, blue with the gold wheels, which is a flagship thing. And the splitter on the bottom of this car is standard on the STI Limited. So it's got all of this, and it's a two-piece splitter. Splits in the middle there. Aftermarket headlight covers. And now this actual car here is fitted with the more desirable, very rare and very expensive JDM forged alloy wheels. And now these wheels are known to fetch anything. I've seen them advertised anything in the region of about £2,000. £2,000 for a set of wheels is madness, but they are. That's what they're worth. And the car is completely standard suspension. I believe these come with the pink shock absorbers, which you probably pink suspension, standard Brembo brake disc calipers. It's got some aftermarket brake pads, and with it being a Limited, the Limited comes with this spoiler. Now, some Scoobies come with that spoiler as standard, but it's sitting without the razors. Now, the Limiteds come with the razors on them, so it sits slightly better, as you can see there. And honestly, it's been debadged and stuff. There's nothing like that on it. And I mean, just look at this thing. It is such a good car. Now, I know the Spec Cs and stuff come with the roof vent. This isn't based on a Spec C chassis, but I do believe these have the EJ207 under the bonnet, which is the same as the Spec C RA and the S202. The turbo, I believe, is the same, and, or should I say, the engine internals and turbo are the same as a Spec C RA and S202. And it also has a short track differential, pink suspension, amongst a few things, and this thing drives so good, so good. A lot of Scoobies drive very nice, but some of them, I don't know, I believe I've driven a fair few, and some don't feel right, but the Bugs always really do it for me. They are very good. So onto the inside, probably noticed pillarless doors, which is a very good feature. I quite like them, to be fair. It stops you from knocking your head on the actual frame sometimes. And the aftermarket additions inside this car is the steering wheel and a blitz. It's not a boost controller as such, but it is just like a gauge, reads all your temperatures and voltage and stuff. And now this steering wheel sits ever so slightly further out, as you can see. It's got a HKS emboss on it, which is imprinted at the top there, and it's a Momo steering wheel with a deep dish on it. So steering wheel sits out even further because it connects there, which is sticking out that far from the standard one. And then you got the deeper dish, so the wheel is actually very nicely in your hands, closer to your chest. But other than that, it's completely standard on the inside. This is a factory option STI genome gauge, which again, very good. And that's the controller for it just down there. And other than that, obviously, it's got the standard seats. I believe these were, don't quote me on this, I'm sure it's STI 7. But like I said, don't quote me on that, but these are very hugging seats. They've got the little stitching here, and the bolster here kind of like pops out, so it's you could probably see it there, so it matches the lower bolster just there. But and then obviously you got your rev counter in the middle. As with all Subarus, they'll really kind of like emphasize on the revs, fuel and temperature gauge over there, water temperature, and then you got your speedometer here, which is in kilometers, and all the rest of it is standard, apart from stereo, which kind of like goes without saying. I think most of them are aftermarket stereo, glove box. They're very basic inside, very plasticky and stuff, but again, like I've mentioned on the previous videos, these cars weren't designed for luxury. Yeah, luxury. Creature comforts, they do have air conditioning, electric windows and stuff, but they weren't designed for luxury, and these things are so good to drive. The drive, the feel you get through the wheel and the whole experience is fantastic, and I'll go through a bit more of that on the actual drive. But these cars are very special. I think in my heart they've got a very special place. These STI Bugs are very good. If I could actually find and afford to buy an S202 to put away, I think I would do it, because they are mega. And this is quite literally the next best thing from an S202 and a Spec C Type RA. Yeah, Spec C Type RA. So it is what it is, and it's actually a very good car, and I feel very blessed to actually have the opportunity to drive this thing and basically video it for you guys to see. So there is the heart of this thing, the EJ207 2-litre turbocharged engine, which is 6-speed gearbox and 4-wheel drive. And this one, the only aftermarket edition here is the HKS intake. Sounds very good. And the other option, the other modification on this car is an actual exhaust system. It's got a stainless steel exhaust system, which looks quite, I mean, that's quite massive. You could get my fist inside there. And overall, this car is actually, for a car that's 20 years old, this is 20 years old, this car is pretty much immaculate. It is a very, very tidy car, and I mean, just look at it. I know they look like a bit of a mess here, but top mount intercooler is standard, and obviously battery, which is a bit rubbish on this, hence why I don't want to turn the car off. And it is what it is. And yeah, and then there's the strut racer, which is a standard feature. But yeah, that's the engine, and I'm sure you get the gist of it. I'm sure most of you have had some sort of an experience with Subaru Imprezas, and they all look the same under the bonnet, but it's just the way they drive and the way they feel, the way they deliver the power that differs. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Subscribe to our channel, check us out on our social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, and if you'd like your car featured, pflifestyle@hotmail.com. The email will be at the bottom of the screen and in the description, as always. And yeah, I will be more than happy to accommodate. So what we'll do is we'll go for a little drive in this mega Scooby, and then we'll conclude the video as usual. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will catch you on the drive. Onto the drive of this STI Limited JDM Bug. Honestly, when I say these cars feel special to drive, I'm not just taking the mick. Honestly, these cars are so good, so good. If you've ever driven a normal Bugeye STI, or even a Blob STI, Hawk STI, and you've never driven a JDM Bug, they feel that ever so little bit special. But the Limited feels almost identical to drive as the S202 and the Spec C RA, minus the roof vent, which does let in quite a lot of air, to be fair, which I was quite surprised when I first ever drove one, and it was like, wow, you wouldn't have ever thought that it lets in that much air, but they do. But yeah, the JDM Bug STI Limited doesn't actually have a vent, because the chassis is still based on a normal STI, but it's just the engine components, turbo, all the other little bits and bobs, suspension, which is special compared to a normal car. And they just feel very focused, very poised. You literally point them in a direction and they go. And with it being a four-wheel drive, the four-wheel drive system on a Subaru Impreza is, as you know, the symmetrical four-wheel drive system, so it's a 50-50 split, and they grip and go. There's honestly nothing bad I can say about them. And this one with the HKS filter, oh, this feels very good. It's very punchy. Very punchy. And grippy, which is exactly what Subaru Imprezas are known for. They're well renowned for this. They are quite literally one of the most popular classic E sort of cars of yesteryear around on the road. If you see a Scooby, you know exactly what one is all about. They gained this ASBO reputation many years ago because they were a bit loud, and you know, when people pop some bangs and decat pipes and all the rest of it. And I think it suits the image very well. Now with this one, having the smaller spoiler, a lot of people will actually assume it's a lesser model than an STI, but they will be wrong, very wrong. Because this is an STI, but one touch above it, but one model better than a normal STI, and it just goes to show in the way this thing drives. It is absolutely amazing. Seriously amazing. Oh, I'm loving this car. Seriously loving this car. This is absolutely awesome. And I meant it as well. If I could find an S202 for a reasonable price, I think I would buy one. Purely because their prices at the minute are through the roof. I know back in the days, people who bought them for 10 grand or even less than that, but nowadays for a rarer colour like a yellow or something, you're looking at paying, I'd say, over £30,000. And now if you're not a Subaru mad, then you'll think £30,000 for a Scooby. But yes, that is exactly what they fetch. EP3. As with all Subarus, the driving position, the steering, all the controls, everything is exactly where you'd want it to be on a bit of a spirited run. It's there. It's all, you know, exactly where everything sits. And with this, obviously having the aftermarket steering wheel with a slightly extended boss, I think it's called, so it sits even closer to you as the driver. But I think it suits it quite well, especially when you're going around lanes and stuff, and it's or track on a spirited run. It's quite a well sort of thing. And on the inside, STI, there's quite a few places where STI is stamped, engraved or something. It's engraved on the gear surround, it's stamped on the rev counter. And also the other thing that you'll actually realize is you've got that bonnet scoop sitting there right in front of you. So there's no getting away from the fact, there's no forgetting the fact that the car you're driving or you're in is an Impreza STI. Oh, Golf R, that's very nice. But yeah, if you've never had one, you will not know what I'm talking about. You will not know how they feel, but they are very special cars. And even in this day and age, bearing in mind this car's 20 years old, I still think, and I've driven, alhamdulillah, loads of different cars, and I still think these are a touch above a lot of other cars that you could buy, and even the modern hot hatches. There you go, just a fourth gear pull. Even in fourth gear, it just goes. This thing, point to point, it would be very difficult to beat a standard STI, limited that is, because these do have that little bit of an edge over a standard normal STI. And bearing in mind, a normal STI, when I say normal STI, they're still a very special car. So we've got second gear. Oh, I love these things. Very, very sensitive to the throttle, and the way it just puts the power down is mega. There's an FK2 behind me trying it, but I think he just got left. What a car, what a car. You can just hear the actual induction, the HKS intake just sucking in the air, and the moment you let off the throttle, it dumps it like you'd expect from a dump valve. But this doesn't actually come with a aftermarket dump valve. It's got the standard valve, and it is just the intake. You can hear, and it sounds absolutely awesome. I think that is going to be the key word for this video, awesome. I know I overuse that word sometimes in these videos, but honestly, you really do not understand how good these cars are. This thing is running, with it being a limited, it's probably at around 315-16 brake horsepower according to online resources, but a normal STI would be 276 on paper, but probably about late 200s. So this has that little bit of a extra kick over a normal STI Bugeye, and you can actually feel it as well. You could tell. So if somebody's trying to tell you they've got an STI Limited, honestly, they are definitely worth paying more money over a normal STI Bugeye. I think that HKS intake sounds very good. In standard form, I can only imagine it drives exactly like this, but a little bit quieter. But that burble from the exhaust, even though it's not a unequal length manifold like the UK cars, so the Subaru burble, it loses it a little bit, but I think the Bugs still retained a little aspect of it. I don't know what it is, but they still sound like that lumpy sort of idle. And bear in mind, this is a standard car apart from the intake and the exhaust, so I'm not sure what it is, but it still retains some of it, and it sounds very good. Subarus were known for that. You could actually hear a Subaru coming from a mile off purely because of the noise it made. Evos and all the rest of it were, you'd actually have to have a look. You could probably tell it's a turbocharged car because it's sucking in everything it's going past, but you still had to have a look. But with these, you knew exactly what it was. Oh, what a car. Seriously, what a car. Oh, I'm actually loving this. And I'm sure I say that about a lot of them as well. Amazing. Better slow down. So here we are off the mark. And that wasn't launching it, because I'm not planning on launching this car, but the way it just delivers that power is... Oh, nearly just killed a bird. I missed it though, alhamdulillah. Oh, seriously. The handling is amazing. The way it puts the power down is phenomenal. I know you could get faster cars, you know, 500, 600 horsepower, but the fun these cars offer, you're not getting in one of them, quite frankly. You're definitely not getting in one of them. Oh, this is sick. Right, on that note, I'm going to conclude the video. I hope you've enjoyed the video for today, guys, of this amazing Subaru Impreza STI Ltd. And it has been an absolute joy to drive. Like that, you can hear it. It has been an absolute joy to drive. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram, performance_lifestyles, and we're on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. And if you'd like your car featured, drop us an email, pflifestyle@hotmail.com, and we will be more than happy to accommodate. But yeah, check out the rest of the videos on our channel as well. We've got quite a few cars on there, so I'm sure there's something out there on our channel for everybody. So do feel free to check them out. There's yeah, JDM Germans and all the rest of it. So yeah, check them out. And as per usual guys, stay safe and we will catch you on the next video.